A very good evening to you. My name's Ed Nichols. I'm a pastor of Dunstan Family Church, and I and another pastor, Pastor Kobe, are going to speak every week on the theme of truth sets you free and can transform your life. We are Christian pastors. The truths that we will share with you are the truths that Jesus has taught us. But may I just say very quickly that we're not talking about religion. We're not talking about anything stuffy. But we're looking at truths that can set a normal human being, man, woman, free. Jesus said words like this. He saw an awful lot of people, and people loved Jesus. And I'm talking about ordinary people, not religious people. The religious people hated him. But the ordinary man, the ordinary woman in the streets, they loved him. They liked being in his company. And he used to say things like this to them. If you will hear my words and put them into practice in your life, you shall know the truth. And the truth will set you free. How are you and I transformed? How are we massively changed from where we are today? It is truth that brings that transformation about. A very good change to my life, to your life. It's truth that does that. And Jesus speaks many, many truths. But I just want you to think of this relationship between receiving something that is true and being set free. Set free in your emotions. Set free in your mind. So many of us, and I've certainly been this way myself, so we're chained up in our minds. We're emotionally chained up. We're not free. And we have all these hang-ups that do our heads in and rob us of joy and peace in our lives. And sometimes they rob us of any future that we may have. And we just kind of feel life's a bit of a slog. We've just got to get through it. We've just got to find things to distract ourselves. Perhaps we just need to drink alcohol and get a lot more of that. Perhaps we feel we need some drugs or something, just to get through this slog of a life. Jesus came across many, many people, ordinary people like you and I, and he saw sometimes that they were harassed with life. Sometimes that they were quite hopeless and helpless as too. And he would speak to them lovingly, as indeed Jesus speaks lovingly to you. Listen to his words again. If you will hear my words and put them into practice, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Many of us, and I've done this myself, we believe lies. We believe lies about ourselves. Sometimes we feel we're no good. That people are better than us. That it's all right for them because they've got this, they've got that, they're good looking, they're handsome, they've got money, they've got a good job compared with us. And we believe these things, that we're really not that good, and that basically our life isn't really that much worth living. But let me say this to you. It's important to know the truth, but it's important to be able to recognize a lie. And they're all lies. You are important. Whatever you look like, whatever your shape, however much money you have or don't have, however big your car is or your house is or small, you are important. You are of great value to God and to his Son Jesus. You are of great value. And so perhaps the first truth that Jesus would say to you is that you are a person, you're a man of value, you're a woman of value. Now, that truth only can work for you and set you free if you receive it. If you don't receive it, then obviously nothing changes. But I would encourage you to start thinking very, very differently about yourself. Did you know that when God calls a person beautiful, he doesn't mean men that we should look like Brad Pitt or some other film star, or ladies that you should look like, I don't know, is it Jennifer Lopez? I'm not very good on film stars, but some, that you only have value if you look like them, if you've got beautiful hair like this one and a beautiful shape like this one. Do you know, these are lies. In God's sight, you can be quite beautiful in your own way, just as you are. And so I would encourage you to accept this truth, that God values you, that God cares for you, that God's desire is to bless you so much that you see many good days and that you begin to love life. Now, these are truths. Jesus indeed said, I've come that you might have life and have that life to the full. Now, these are truths. Just start to let the light of these truths into your heart, into your mind, into your feelings, into your spirit. Just let the light of these things begin to dawn there and drive out the darkness of negative thoughts, of lies that perhaps you've listened to all your life. Sometimes, as we grew up as children or teenagers or, young adults, whatever, people have spoken lies to us. They've said things that you should never have said, and they went deep within us and we believed them. They were lies, but we believed them. And those lies that we believed changed our life, but not in a good way, in a bad way. It's as though we lived a kind of Cinderella existence. Life full of drudgery, but we never ever quite got to go to the ball. I want to say to you, God does not see you as a Cinderella. He sees you more like the princess that went to the ball. God has a high valuation upon you. That is why he sent his Son to the earth, to live for you, to die for you, and also now to be raised from the dead for you. How valuable are you to God? As valuable as the blood of his Son. As precious as the life of his Son are you. And that is the truth. Did you know sometimes people confirm the bad ways we think about ourselves? The Bible says this, that in the power of the tongue, there is power to do good to people, to speak good to people, and there's the power to speak evil to people. And we are often subject, aren't we, to the power of words that people speak. A school teacher said something. Perhaps just someone in your family, who perhaps even basically loved you, but they just said words and you never forgot them. I know of a woman in Dunstan who once told me this. We would speak to her in groups and she would never speak. And so we said, why don't you speak? And she said, when she was at school, the teacher said to her, "Oh, I hate your voice." And that was said to her when she was reading. So basically, she grew up with the idea that her voice was something to hate. That people didn't want to hear her voice. There's something about her voice that basically people just didn't want to hear. And then we said to this dear woman, listen, your voice is pleasant. And she began to grow in confidence and to speak and to share and to put away this idea, this lie, that somehow her voice was not worth listening to. Your voice is worth listening to. Your words are worth listening to. You're precious to God. You're valuable as the blood of his Son, given for you. Do you know the beginning of truth is the beginning, when you receive it, of transformation? What do we mean by transformation? Well, think of this word, this Greek word, metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is not just change, it's huge change, great change. What kind of change are we talking about? Think about a caterpillar. A caterpillar becoming a butterfly. You'll know about caterpillars, no doubt, probably more than me, some of you. But I know of this of caterpillars when I used to collect them when I was a boy, that they crawl about, usually on cabbage leaves. They crawl on the ground, they crawl near the ground, and they eat cabbage. Now, I don't know about you, but as a boy, I cannot say that I thought that cabbage was very, very tasty and worth eating unless it was drowned in a very savoury and pleasant gravy. And you know, a lot of us are like caterpillars. We're getting by, we're eating cabbage, we're eating the cabbage leaves of life. When what God wants is he wants to transform the caterpillar into a butterfly. Now, a butterfly doesn't crawl the ground and eat cabbage. The butterfly flies above the earth in the air. It moves from one beautiful flower to another one. It doesn't eat cabbage, it drinks nectar, sweet nectar from the hearts of flowers. And you'll have all seen how beautiful the wings of butterflies are, even if it's the ordinary cabbage white butterfly, as well as the red admiral and other beautiful coloured butterflies. But there's a beauty. And the change from caterpillar to butterfly is metamorphosis. It's transformation. It is great change. Did you know that God loves you enough to transform you, to change you greatly? Not because he thinks that what you are now is kind of not worth anything. Oh, I've told you already, you're very valuable to God. But he wants to show you how pleasant life can be, how beautiful your existence on the earth can be. Receive these truths. Jesus says we have a spiritual enemy who hates us. And Jesus says of the spiritual enemy that he has come to kill, to steal, and to destroy us. He comes to kill the very life within us, so we hardly think it's worthwhile living. He comes to steal peace and joy and hope and the expectation of good from us, so we feel pretty hopeless, really. And if he can absolutely destroy us completely, then he will do that. And I don't know about you, every person who jumps the Tyne Bridge, the Redheugh Bridge, and dies is the evidence of someone that he has destroyed. That's very sad in the sight of God. It's very sad in my sight, and I'm sure in yours too. And in our communities, we need the bridges to be something better than places to end our lives and be destroyed. And so I want to, in closing, just say this. As you think within yourself, that's how you will be. If you think I'm an absolute failure, that's what you think in your heart, that's what you will be, an absolute failure. Incidentally, we've all failed. I've failed many times, and sometimes I thought I would never get up again. But this God who loves us gets us up again. You see, this is a great truth. Every human being fails in some sense. Fails as a mother, fails as a father, fails as a lover, fails as a husband, fails as a wife, fails at work. There's so many ways we can fail. Fails in education. So many ways we can fail. But here is the truth. That though we fail, God can lift us up again and we will succeed. This is truth. If you think I'm just a failure, this doesn't apply to me, listen, just join the club. I sometimes call myself the president of the failures club because I feel I've failed so many times. You're not alone. But listen, everybody will respect you if you feel you've failed and you say, "What? I'm not staying here in this dark cloud of failure. I'm getting up and I'm going to get on with my life and I'm going to succeed in life and prosper in life. I'm going to do well in life." Do you know you will win the admiration of your fellow human beings if you've got such a spirit? And God himself, when he looks at you, will be gladdened in his heart. Because this is truth, you see. That when we fall, we can rise again. When we fail, we can succeed. And the important thing is to know this truth, that we just need to get up, to shake ourselves free from chains, to shake the dust off, to take our raggy clothes off and put on beautiful garments and start living as God intended us to live. Did you know that God intends you to live well? And so today, let me just say again to you the words of Jesus. Jesus said, "If you hear my words and you put them into practice in your lives, that you shall know the truth, and that truth will set you free." Today, thank you for listening. We begin to share some of these truths. You are precious. You are valuable. More valuable and precious than you know, are you? Your life's not over. Your life has hardly begun. And though there may be many years behind you, there are years to come. Perhaps many years to come, when you can say these words. Do you know what it is? I love life. And I have seen many good days. And I'm looking forward to seeing many more. Let these truths of Jesus lift you up. Receive them into your heart. Let them be like light in the darkness. And let you and I start believing these truths in our hearts like little children. Not objecting to them, just receiving them. And then we begin to live freely. Accepting ourselves for what we are, just as we are. So you can look in the mirror and you can say, well, if I had my preference, if I was to look in the mirror, I'd say, well, I would like to be a lot more good looking than I am. I'd like a lot more hair than I have. I'd like to be about 4 inches taller than I am. But I can look in the mirror and accept myself. God wants us to accept ourselves. He wants you to accept yourself because he loves you. And he's saddened when you don't accept yourself. If he loves you, love yourself. Accept yourself. Let you and I begin to be free to receive the truth week in, week out, whether Pastor Kobe or myself, the truth that sets us free. And then everything will look different for you and for me. And the will of God, which is for you good and pleasant and perfect, will begin to come to pass. May God bless you with the truth. Today is a day to stop believing lies and start believing truth. And today may this be the beginning of you kicking the chains off, throwing away those garments that are dusty and raggy and putting on some beautiful garments. Let today be that beginning. If I can be of any further help to anyone, Pastor Kobe or myself, I'll give you my contact details. Pastor Kobe can give you his. But if you would like a conversation at all about these things further, then you can get me on my home number 0191 460 4567. If I'm not here, just leave me a message and a contact number or detail on my answer machine, and I'll get back to you very quickly. If you prefer email, you can get me on ed.nichols, NICHOLS, @live.com. Thank you for your time. May God bless you richly and set you free. Amen.